Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. Well, we're in Thanksgiving week, and I hope, and wish for you that you have the best Thanksgiving you ever had. And how do you have that? You just make it so. You make it so. If you're crying about family members that are gone, you cry for a little bit, and then you talk to them and you keep going. It's all about continue to move forward because God got this, whatever it is. I understand, excuse me, there's some people who may have not gotten all their SNAP benefits. Whatever you have gotten, make that work. It's a case of having to make things work. I am 83 years old. I raised a daughter on 2 or 3 pennies, maybe 10 cents, 15 cents, 30 cents. It wasn't a whole lot of money because we just didn't get it like that. We didn't have it like that. But you would never know that because you have to make lemons. You have to make lemonade out of lemon. And once you learn how to do that, once you just do it, you just say, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. It's all here. I tell you all the time, it's right here. So whatever is going on for you with Thanksgiving, have your own Thanksgiving. Peanut butter jelly sandwich. On yesterday with Albert and I, we have Restored Soul. We talked about that. Peanut butter jelly sandwich. A cheese burger. A grilled cheese sandwich. See, the Thanksgiving thing was set up so we could celebrate the being oppressed people. We were celebrating the Pilgrims coming over and the Native Americans helping them, and we were celebrating the Pilgrims first Thanksgiving. And in the meantime, a genocide was being practiced against the Native American. So we're not celebrating that anymore. You can have turkey and not have turkey. You can have whatever you want to have. As long as you're with family. Family, friends, if you don't have family, whatever you call family, whatever you think may be family. If it's you by yourself enjoying a drink, sitting down enjoying yourself because you know it's one day, then that's family. I'm just saying, enjoy yourself. Now I want to talk to you all about what my GiGi week. Some of you all asked me about the week that I was here. I was here. I did a week of my daughter and her husband had to go to a conference. And so little GiGi had to stay with me. Oh, I had to stay with her. Well, we had fun. And many of you laughed at my discussion about the gas. So this is what I need you to understand. My car is a 2018. I didn't say what kind, but it's a 2018. And so I've had it since 2018. It had 0 on it when I got it. And now it has a lot of miles to me. 2018, and it has 33,000 miles on it. And a car that has 33,000 miles on it is a lot of miles to me. Now, you always say, subtracting 2018 from 2025, that's going to give you how many years, and you divide that into 33,000 miles that I have, and you can see that I don't use many miles a year because the car doesn't go that far. And then when I was by myself here, I didn't go far, and everybody I knew had a car. So they would always carry me somewhere. And now these people all got cars, all kind of, it's like a parking lot out there, 2 or 3 cars belong to this one, that one, the other one, the cousins, the child, the other grandchild, this one. It's just cars out there. So whatever car moves, I move. So when I put gas in the car, I put $10 in. And $10, and it's always gas in my car if I put the $10 in there, And so I put $10 in, I go where I want to go, and I come back, there's still gas in the car. Well, with GiGi, oh my God, that's why I was telling Wayne McMillan, I didn't know you used that much gas. Where did the gas go? But here's the thing. So let me give you a hint what not to do. So when I said, well, listen, we're going to have a whole week, and we're going to make a list of all the places we're going. And when we were making a list, it sounded great. It was all the places I didn't mind going, and it's all the places that they weren't going to take her. They might take her, but they won't take her like I was going to take her, what I'm saying. And so we had us a list. Baby, in the middle of that, she's on the swim team, so she had to go to classes so she can get swimming in because they got a meet coming up. All that went on, and all that went on for day and nighttime driving. Did I say nighttime driving? Let me repeat, nighttime driving. Did anybody hear me say nighttime driving? Okay. She drove, I held the thing. And she said, we're going this, oh my God. it was an experience, but I loved every minute of it. I did, because I haven't had anybody young like that. They moved here when she was in the fifth grade, and it's been fun for me. It keeps me going, and I think of things we could do, and that doesn't fit you in anything, because I think kids, they go to the stores. We go to stores. That's all I know, is to go to the store. I don't go to anything else. Just go to the stores. And because we haven't worked out the flying thing. See, with Avalon, like this same age group, we got on an airplane. You know, Gigi and I go to the dollar store. Avalon and I went to San Juan. You know, and I was telling somebody, I have some books. I have 3 little books that I have done for young people. I have one called The Corner. You heard me talk about it, so I turned it into a young people's book. The second one is The Corner, The Hoodie. I think, you know, I did a story. One of my podcasts here was a hoodie. And the third one was my trip to San Juan with Evelyn. And I told my story. I told the story to a soror of mine and a classmate. And she said, Georgianne, that was a beautiful story. And so I turned that into a little book. And I say little book because these are watercolors, and they're for kids. But so I want to give you. So let me go back to the gas. Let me go. So you got all that. So the $10 I put in the car, as far as I was concerned, is what my normal amount of money I put in the car. So all week I spent so much money on gas. I didn't know gas cost that much, number one, however much it costs. But $10 usually got me, what, 2 or 3 gallons, that's all I need. But we went from the east side of Atlanta to the west side of Atlanta. She knows that now. Then we went to the north side of Atlanta to the south side of Atlanta. We had fun doing it. But I'm telling you, I was, whoa. Can I say I was whoa out? I was so glad when they came back. They didn't come back till Saturday night. Baby, I was so glad to see them for more than one reason. I was glad to see them because they had been gone and traveling, you know. And then I was glad to see them just to say that, baby, I did it. I did it. I did it. I didn't know I could do it, but I did it. And I enjoyed every bit of it, but I had God on my side. And no, but God was on my side, because you all know what time I go to bed. All my personal friends know. And you heard me say, I work better at night. Things work better for me. All this works better if it's no distraction. And it's stuff that I just can't tell you how I create. It's just creation after creation after creation after creation. I wish I had me I don't have to wish for that, because I have a marketing plan. I just need to execute it. But these last 3 children's books is what I really want to push. But I need to tell you the story. I need to tell you a story. So because I told this story, I don't mind telling it. Some of you are like would frown upon it maybe, but I don't frown upon. I thank God for. I wouldn't be this way, the way I am, where I want to motivate and hold up people and encourage people and motivate you to do that, if I hadn't had these things happen to me. If you are a parent out there and you didn't have much money, let me give you a story on when you're a parent and don't have much money. So this particular Saturday, I got up and my car was not working. Did I tell you the story? Maybe I did. I don't know. The trip to San Juan, maybe I won't tell it. But the name of the book is Fuego. Maybe I won't tell it again. But I will go ahead. Now I started. I got up a Saturday morning. I wasn't living in a space that was totally mine either. We were living with some people temporarily. And the car didn't work. And it was just too much. It was overwhelming. It was too much. And so I said to Evelyn, where would you like to go today? Where would you like to go on an airplane today? And she said, San Juan. I think I told this story. I don't know if I tell it again. Anyway, San Juan, Puerto Rico. And I said, okay. And when you're an airline person, you know, you can do all these kind of things. And so because I feel like I'm telling the story again, I don't want to waste you all's time to listen to it. But maybe it'll be somebody new that didn't hear it. So I'll go ahead and tell it. So there was a van would take us where this particular girlfriend of mine had an apartment that was where airline people had a van that would take you back and forth to the airport. So we hopped on the van because the car wasn't working, and I went out and we got first class, of course, to San Juan. When you're a current employee, nobody was going to San Juan that morning, I guess, and it was a good idea. And I had $50 in total, and I got on the plane, and we were almost about to land. If you get first class back then, you got food, and so that was the food. The food was covered. You got breakfast. She had all she wanted to eat. They offered you breakfast. We were in first class. The eggs and bacon, whatever they had to order. You could get whatever. Especially, employees got leftovers, but still nobody wanted the food, and they already had the food up there, so we ate well. And right before landing, I asked a flight attendant, where could I get a hotel? And he said, you're going to San Juan with no reservation? I said, no, I don't have one. He said, well, the hotel they're having a special for airline people is $25. I said, thank you. So I got off, and I didn't know that the hotel had a van. So I said, I'll take the taxi. I didn't know that the hotel was by the airport. So the taxi took me around the block and took some of the money. I was like, okay. And so I went in, and then I told him I was an airline person, and I paid him the $25. It was cash at that. And so that left me about $20 maybe. And so I knew I could eat the next morning, and we just wanted to be in San Juan to look at the water, and we had a night, a place to put our head. And I just wanted her to have some kind of experience. And so I had my $20. And I asked somebody, where would you go just for one night? And they said, you should go to Old San Juan. I said, okay. And they said, they have a tour. I said, where do regular people go? And they said, they take the bus. It's 25 cents. Hey, that's 50 cents. 50 cents, 25 cents each. And going, so that's $1. So that's pretty good. And then Evelyn said she was hungry. Now, I'd already told her, you can't be hungry. Who tells a child they can't be hungry? I can. I said, you can't be hungry now. Mommy doesn't have much money. So we're just doing an adventure. We're on an adventure. And she said, but I'm hungry. I said, okay. So I saw a Kentucky Fried place. And back then, I think you can get Kentucky Fried for like $3 or $4. Where in this particular place, it was like $5 or $6. And I got 3 pieces and something, mashed potatoes or maybe some fries and a drink, one drink. I always tear up when I tell the story because I remember, being hungry myself. But I said, no. So she ate 2 of the pieces and I ate 1 piece. I didn't eat any fries or mashed potatoes. I didn't get a drink. I drank water. And so she was happy. So we got on the bus, found out where the bus, people catch the bus to go to Old San Juan. Now, mind you, I was a French major and a Spanish minor. So I figured I had a little something going on. So Missy gets on there and I get on the bus. But the one word I don't know is fuego. Fuego. So we on the bus. Everybody speaks Spanish. We look good now. I'm a nice looking woman with a nice little kid, all greased up and got her little hair together. She's holding Mama's hand because, Mama off on the bench. I got my bag on my shoulder. And we're standing because the bus is crowded. And then we hear the word fuego. And Evelyn said, what does that mean? I said, I don't know. I'm trying to think what's fuego. Fuego, fuego. And people started getting off the bus where it meant the bus was on fire. Oh, Lord. It's not funny, but people start getting off the bus. Now, we don't know where we are, so we get off the bus, of course, because we look back, the bus is on fire. Like, oh, my God. And so everybody was talking. And, we looked like we could be from there. People looked like me. They were brown like me. A different complexion, but a lot of brown like me. And so we were standing there. And then another bus came up. We moved out of the way and kind of trying to see the lay of the land because I'm just, we're on an adventure for real. So the lay of the land said another bus was coming. I heard that in English somewhere, that another bus was coming. So the other bus came. We got on the bus, went down to San Juan, then to Old San Juan. It was beautiful to stand out there and look at the water and the canyons and the mountains. And, it was just a beautiful sight to be out there and walking around, other people walking around. So so then she wanted some ice cream. I was like, oh my God. By this time I got change maybe. I'm trying to get change. Put change together to get her the ice cream. So I got her the ice cream. And so then it was getting later. It was like midnight, maybe 11 o'clock, and no bus. And there were other people that were looking. I said, is the bus coming? I did say that. Found somebody that spoke English. I think it was some other visitors there from English-speaking country. I thought I had an accent, maybe a British accent. So anyway, they said somebody called and said they had all these tourists stranded down in Old San Juan. So they sent a bus, and they sent the bus, but the bus didn't go to the hotel. But they told me that the bus would take me close to the hotel, and then I could walk the rest of the way. And I'm a young woman, and I got a young kid. And I'm like, okay. And we walked through the barrier, and people waved, and we waved. And I don't know if we looked like we were tourists or what we looked like, but, God sends his angels. I was on an adventure with my child. We were already having a rough time, and I didn't want her to look at life when you have, you can't turn lemons into lemonade. And I did have that airline privilege, and she picked the place to go, selected a city, and I said, let's go. It wasn't, I went to Boston like that, I think, but I went to Boston like that, and I went to some other places like that, come to think of it. But this is the time when I took my child to Boston like that, but it wasn't as bad as it's here. We didn't know anybody. And God sent his angels, and we walked back to the hotel, went in the hotel, and had a bath and whatnot, and got up the next morning. We were up early, got first class back, had food. So we weren't hungry. We were not hungry when we got back. And I think the next day maybe was payday. I think it was something like that. But it was okay because when she went to school, everybody hadn't gone to San Juan for the weekend. You see, everyone hadn't had ice cream or Kentucky Fried in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Everybody hadn't stood in Old San Juan and looked out and looked through the cannons, and when they were, having to fight off the pirates and whatnot. Nobody had that adventure. Everybody hadn't been on a bus that burned up, and a mama that walked you through neighborhoods, speaking to people, saying hello and waving and making it back and knowing that you're going to be all right. And so that's the kind of adventure when you say you see my daughter and I, and people had all kinds of things they might want to say, but that's how I raised her. You gotta, and that's why I'm here to talk to you all. You don't have any money. You make lemons. You make lemonade out of that lemon. You got a kid. You keep your child in focus, and you won't get out of focus. So a lot of folks, they say, oh, Georgianne this, Georgianne that, but no, Georgianne, I kept my nose to the ground. I had Rowan Montgomery, Allison Montgomery. She was a good and is a good friend of mine that said, we got these kids to raise. She had a boy and I had a girl. I couldn't get out of order. There was a lot of things I may have wanted to do. I couldn't do because I was by myself. I had a girl child. That's number 1, 2, I had a girl child. It was just, you had to do things that you just had to be careful how you did. Whatever you did, you can be going out and all that. You can do all that because you had a girl child. And so I wanted her to have an experience, and I did that with no money. Now, would I recommend it now? I don't know if I recommend it now. Would I even think about it? But I didn't think about it back then. I didn't think about that. All I thought about was my car was not working. I didn't have anybody to call. I don't know that I ever had a real, how people have boyfriends to have money and give them this, that, and other. That was never my thing. And so I just said, listen, she didn't ask to come on this earth, and your kids didn't ask to come. You gotta. Those of you who are on the other side of the screen, you got a little kid. The kid didn't ask for this world that the child is in, and so it's up to you, mama, up to you, daddy, because daddies are raising kids by themselves to stay the course. You have to stay the course. Put your nose down and stay the course, and really just don't get what everybody else is doing. They act like you're doing. Oh yeah, that's great, and you somewhere else trying to stay the course. It wasn't easy then. I'm sure it's not easy now because there's more things going on out here, and you got all this going on in Washington D.C. You got people hating on you. At least I know I could go somewhere. I could ask somebody something. They won't be trying to lock me up and say I look like everybody. Wouldn't that be something? I don't know if I would have done all this during these times, but it was good. How old was Evelyn? Maybe she was about 11. Maybe no. I found somewhere by 11, or maybe I had lost something by 11. I don't know. I had. Whew, baby, I can tell you some stories. Maybe she's like 9 or maybe 10, I'm not sure, somewhere like that, but right like this baby, she's 11. And so I wanted to tell that story because that is a book. That's a book. It's in a book, and it's a book. It's in my testimonies book. Oh, matter of fact, it's in this. I know it's somewhere. Those of you who have ordered this book, it's in this book. You probably could get a handle on who I am if you order this book off of Amazon, if you need to get a handle on who I am, because I'm like a chameleon, I know that, but a chameleon. Anyway, this is the book that has the story about the San Juan and a few more stories as I talk about mother's love. See, it's nothing like a mother or father's love, a love. It's love. The love keeps you going. Loving a child will give you the creativeness, the great creative process you need to be able to carry that child forward. You gotta be in love with your child, and then all the rest of it will come to you. So I've enjoyed this conversation tonight. I don't know anybody listening. I don't know, but I wanted to share because when God tells me something, it really is somebody out there is waiting to hear it. Somebody will like the story. Someone will tell somebody else the story, or maybe you just enjoy listening to me. I don't know, but I know, and when I tell it, I get teared up because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. And there's somebody out here that I'm talking to. I'm telling you, I know what it's like when you don't have all you want to have, but you just put your heart and your mind in God's hand, and He will take care of the rest of it. Who else gonna get on an airplane with no money and say I can do it, and know you can do it, and know you're gonna be all right? And because you gotta believe in yourself, you gotta believe, knowing that God got your back. You see, people say, "Oh, Georgine, how you do that? How you write books at 83?" Okay, how things come to you at 83? You stay on the path that God has put you on, and you don't get off of it. When you get off of it, it's always a mess. And I sometimes I would just say, "Oh, let me see what they're doing over here." No, I didn't like anything they did over there. I didn't like anything they did over there. And so I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it's lonely being by yourself. I get that. But baby, when you by yourself and you got God on your side, it's gonna be all right. I tell you, I love you. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you enjoyed that story. And buy a book. Buy a book. It's on Amazon. All of them are. Ooh, wow! Look at here now. God, I can't believe I got this much going. Oh my God! Did I do this? Wow! I got one more. I got one called The Flag. Teaching Democracy. See, my thing, all my work is for you to take it and give it to somebody that's in the classroom. I got one called, I haven't gotten that book, called Teaching Democracy. It has a flag on the front of it. Because I want us to look at some good ways or some short ways or some interesting ways. You know, still, we got to keep democracy going in this country, and have a book that you can use in the classroom a teacher can use it to help add to whatever we're talking about, whatever you're talking about in history. Add this little spice. Add this little thing to it. I think it'll be very helpful, and I think your kids will enjoy it. All right, that's enough, Georgianne. I love you, and you can't do anything about it. I do love you.